News of the dumb. Yes, it is back. It is that time. We are talking about analysts who don't know how to analyze things like Waymo. It's a pretty breathtaking bit of stupidity there. But we've also got things like recalls. And of course, we've got some really crazy dumb lies about solar panels in the desert. I'm Brian. Welcome to Future Aza. So I'm joined by my buddy Mark from The Tesla Life. He's here because he's fun and he knows his stuff. Yeah. I've been asked at different times, why do you have certain guests on? And the answer is because different people know different things. And in your case, it's because you've been covering this for, really a decade, both with your channels and with, your hobby, your personal life.
Yep.
So this is in your wheelhouse. And I know for a fact that you follow the news as obsessively as I do, because it's pretty rare that I can find a story that you haven't already seen. So who's going to win the Robotaxi race? Tesla, Waymo, or, and I'm going to give you a hint, this analyst is off their rocker. Who's the third one? Tesla, Waymo, or?
I didn't see this. So it's Tesla?
Uber.
Come on.
Yeah.
Uber's a buyer of technology, and they buy it from other car makers. So I don't see where Uber came out of this. This came out of left field.
I don't get it. I don't know what you're talking about. They're not in the same. If you said taxi race,
yeah,
but you didn't. You said robo. So there, I have questions. Oh, Tesla's Robotaxi Day is almost here. Yes, this was shot before Robotaxi Day. Main competition with the technology is Waymo, owned by Alphabet, by Google. But Uber's flexible, inexpensive business model is here. Is it? Because if you're going to compete with Tesla or Waymo, the first thing you have to do is be able to get a car for the same price as Tesla or Waymo. And I don't know how you do that if you're buying a car from Tesla or Waymo.
They tend to want to profit from that sale, so they're not giving them away.
The whole thing about technology over the last 20 years has been eliminating the middleman. There's whole graveyards filled with middlemen. It's tragic. But they've already it took them well over a decade to get up to scale, but they are at scale. Okay. The traditional taxi business spent 100 years getting up to scale, and they were disrupted by Uber. Uber doesn't have the tech. How on earth is this article real, is my question.
The answer is, this is just sloppy reporting. This is just somebody that's throwing like it should have been a third technology company like Zoox or somebody else that is actually in the game. Or
any of the Chinese players. It's because while those companies may not come to the US, they will come to global markets. The fixed cost, analysts say that about 350 to 400,000 robotaxis are needed. The cars can cost roughly 150,000 each. Now, I agree with that figure because you have to purchase a car and then you have to equip the car. And all of that is after the fact. We know that Waymo's cost is easily north of $150,000 per unit. So how much does that mean your car costs? Because when you're running a taxi service, the first thing you have to do is pay for the taxi.
Yeah.
So let's say you get 150,000 miles out of it. Will you? Maybe. Well, new cars, I've been assured, Mark, are designed to last 1 million miles. Not in a taxi setup, because public riders do not treat your car the way you would, and a robotaxi, at least so far, doesn't dodge potholes the way you do.
That's true.
So the lifespan could be a bit shorter. So, and also, we're talking 150,000 paid miles. It doesn't count the deadheading when they're rolling around looking for a fare or getting from a fare to another fare. In New York City, you will regularly see people hop out of a taxi and someone else hop right in. I've never seen that with an Uber. Although I did get close in Florida, I had to run over to a little meet and greet I had, and an Uber pulled up, dropped a guy off, and then looped and just sat there. And I requested a ride, and he pulled 5 feet forward, and he said, "I knew you were going somewhere. I knew."
You look like a fare before
You
I
look
left.
like a fare. I'm not driving all the way back to Orlando. So this was, so if it's 150,000 and you want to do 150,000, you've got $1 per mile to cover. That's expensive. But if a Robotaxi costs 25,000, and I don't know if it will, it might be to make 20, we'll say 25, that's only 17 cents. You're starting with an 83.6% cent advantage. That's a big advantage.
Yeah, that's disrupting the current market by quite a bit when you can drop 83% plus.
And then what's Uber going to do? Purchase the $150,000 car plus markup from Waymo and let them operate it? I don't see how it works.
Yeah. Do you remember in the early days, Brian, when Tesla said they were going to start doing a FSD setup? Uber had said at the beginning, we'll buy every car you can make. Mm-hmm. Because they knew that they needed a car that would be automated, and they would buy a lot of them because their model fit that. But Tesla turned around and said, we wouldn't sell every car we make. We're going to build them ourselves and use them ourselves.
While I appreciate the kind offer,
Exactly.
I will sell you some seeds, but I'm not giving you the farm.
Yeah.
Would you believe that Tesla would hire someone from Waymo? Because the opposite is what happened. Waymo hires former Tesla executive. So if you're wondering which direction they want the technology to flow, Waymo believes that bringing on Daniel Ho as a program director is the right move. Worked at Tesla for 10 years, wearing multiple hats. It's a good look, by the way. His last 3 were Model 3 developer, 3 and Y developer, and director of vehicle programs and new product introduction. So this means he's not working in self-driving, but in, I guess, vehicle integration. And what Waymo needs is a partner. They need someone that they can enter into like a strategic partnership with that can actually build cars. Who do you think?
And that puts them at a disadvantage as well, because Waymo is not starting in a position where they have a profitable car business. They have profitable car lines that make the cars in multiple factories across the world. Waymo is going to be required, if they can find a partner, to actually just purchase the cars from somebody else, add additional tech to the outside of those cars, or outside and inside, and the price just goes up, up, and up.
You mean like Hyundai and Waymo entering multi-year strategic partnership in which Hyundai just said, we'll just sell you the cars. We'll just sell you the cars. And then after we've sold them to you, then they will be modified into robotaxis.
Yep.
So that is exactly what you just described. Their volume isn't high enough to get a bespoke vehicle. It's not even getting real integration. Sure, Hyundai will probably assign an engineer so they don't tap into the wrong power lines or understand what's causing problems. But this is not a strategic partnership. This is a purchase order.
Exactly. This is like buying a Ford Transit van and having somebody add the interior.
We're in a partnership.
You wanted shelves, and that's what you get.
It's Brian's strategic shelving partnership with Ford.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm big that way. Those are all bits of good news, but I've got some terrible, terrible news. News of the dumb. This is what we're doing. The Sahara covered with solar panels. The biggest mistake in history, and $2 billion we lost. What direction do you imagine this is going?
This is bizarre because, of course, the Sahara gets a lot of sun.
Gets a fair amount of sunlight. Yeah. That is correct.
And solar panels tend to like the sun as much as they can possibly get.
Yeah, they do. That's true.
Yeah.
So would you believe the answer is climate change? No, hear me out. bright future or ecological problem. You see, if you change shadows and create different, it's going to change weather patterns. Yes, solar panels enveloping only 1.2% of the desert could possibly produce sufficient power to supply the whole world. But, at what cost? What appears to be straightforward promptly exposes difficulties. Yeah, a revolution with involuntary effects. Yeah, it could change temperatures very close by. It could change rainfall patterns in the Sahel, which is the bottom edge of the Sahara. It's below the river at the bottom. So, yeah, this is terrible. And financial obstacles. Solar farms might require continuous on-site maintenance. Yeah. I mean, you wash the panels, right?
Yeah, might require.
Might. Well, and there was a funny one in here. Changing billions of solar panels, changing billions will be an enormous task. Why are we changing them?
Yeah, they're good for 20, 25 years with the warranty. Do you think that the supplier of the solar panels are building them so that you can swap them out every 6 months? That would be quite a loss for that manufacturer. So that doesn't make a lot of sense. This seems like another silly article, another one that's very poorly researched.
Or is it very well researched? Who is Eco News? Well, let's pop over to their front page. This is the most, first ultra compact engine unveiled. Experts say it's the end of EVs.
Now we know who Eco News is.
Yeah,
they're really oil and gas news.
Toyota's making smaller and smaller engines. The secret is in its fuel. America fires up largest hydrogen generator in history, 3 tons per day. Come on. This is oil news. Yep. This is oil news.
Absolutely.
And I tried finding anything on here that discloses their obvious interests. And would you believe I couldn't find anything? News of the dumb, folks. News of the dumb.
Wow.
One last big one. Oh, I guess maybe I've got 2. Just this one. Porsche recalls over 27,000 Taycan EVs because of battery fire risk. And the fix is different depending on the year.
Oh, okay.
It's just a high voltage fault that they need to track down and eliminate. The high voltage battery could have a problem. The good news is, hey, they've sold over 27,000. That's more than I realized. I think that's pretty good. Have you ever heard of a Taycan fire?
No.
That's weird because they happened almost immediately. This is from February of 2020 when the first one happened. And everyone in the EV community was eager to just sweep it under the rug. And I get that as a Porsche fan, as a Taycan fan. Tesla fans were doing it because, look, the risk is still very low. Even though one of the first 100 cars sold burst into flames, it doesn't mean that that's what they're all about. It doesn't mean they're common. So yeah, the news exists. It just wasn't widely shared, which is a problem my videos face as well. Folks at home, widely share, would you? Would you? Would you? Could you? Because in these difficult times of polarization along the political spectrum, there are a number of viewers who have a distaste for Mr. Elon Musk, and they're no longer watching my videos. And there are a number of people who have a strong love of him, who find my videos off-putting because I am capable of being critical when it makes sense. And I get it. So share. Sharing is caring. And Sharon is, I think, my mother-in-law, which is less exciting. But, you know, we don't always choose our mother-in-laws, clearly. Mark, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? You guys at home, tell me as well in the comments below, and stay tuned, stay juicy. I cannot wait to hear from you, clever robots, when more very good, very well-researched news hits the fan.